When you think of a tiger, what comes to mind? Majestic, powerful, the undisputed king of the jungle, right? We see them in movies and documentaries as these incredible, fearsome predators. But have you ever stopped to think about what it's actually like to be a tiger? Let me tell you, it's not all glamour and glory. In fact, being born a tiger cub is like starting life on the hardest difficulty setting imaginable. Let's start from the very beginning. A mother tiger gives birth to a litter of cubs, usually 2 to 4. These little guys are born completely blind and helpless, weighing just a couple of pounds. For the first few weeks, their entire world is the dark, warm den their mom found for them. They are totally dependent on her for food, warmth, and protection. And the world outside that den. It's incredibly dangerous. Tigers live in a tough neighborhood. Other predators like leopards, wild dogs, and even male tigers see these tiny cubs as an easy meal. A male tiger might kill cubs that aren't his own to bring the female back into heat so he can have his own offspring. So, from day one, it's a constant struggle for survival. The mortality rate for tiger cubs is shockingly high. More than half of them don't make it to their second birthday. Imagine that, a 50/50th chance of just surviving childhood. Okay, so let's say our little cub is one of the lucky ones. They survive those first couple of years. What's next? Well, now it's time to leave mom and find their own territory. This is a huge, terrifying step. A young tiger has to venture out into the unknown, all alone, to carve out a piece of the world for itself. And this isn't like finding an apartment. A tiger's territory needs to be massive. We're talking dozens, sometimes hundreds of square miles. It needs to have enough prey, a steady water source, and good places to hide. The problem is, all the good spots are probably already taken by bigger, stronger, more experienced adult tigers. So a young tiger often has to wander through dangerous, less than ideal areas, constantly risking clashes with established residents who will not be happy to see a newcomer. These territorial fights can be brutal and often deadly. It's a lonely and perilous journey, and many young tigers don't survive this phase either. They might starve or get seriously injured in a fight. Now, let's talk about the daily grind. Being a top predator sounds cool, but it's hard work. Tigers are solitary hunters, which means they don't have a pack to help them take down large prey. They have to do it all by themselves, and hunting is far from a guaranteed success. Think about it. A tiger has to sneak up on an animal that is built for speed and has incredible senses, like a deer. They use their stripes as camouflage, stalking silently through the undergrowth, getting as close as possible before launching a powerful ambush. But here's the reality check. Most hunts fail. Experts estimate that only about 1 in every 10 to 20 hunts is successful. That's a staggering failure rate. Imagine only getting to eat once every 10 or 20 times you went to the grocery store. This means a tiger is constantly expending a huge amount of energy for a very small chance of reward. They can go for days, sometimes even a week, without a successful kill. Hunger is a constant companion. When they do make a kill, they have to eat as much as they can, as fast as they can, before scavengers show up to steal their hard-earned meal. And what are they hunting? Big, powerful animals. We're talking about wild boar, buffalo, and large deer. These animals don't go down without a fight. A misplaced pounce or a kick from a powerful hoof can result in broken bones, deep gashes, or other life-threatening injuries. For a solitary hunter, a serious injury is a death sentence. There's no one to bring them food or protect them while they heal. A simple broken leg means they can no longer hunt and they will slowly starve. It's a brutal, unforgiving reality. Even finding a mate is a challenge. Since tigers are solitary and live in these huge territories, just finding another tiger can be difficult. A female is only receptive to mating for a few days a year. During this time, she leaves scent marks and calls out to attract males. This can draw in multiple suitors, leading to fierce competition and violent fights between males. Again, it's a high-risk, high-reward situation. And after all that, the male plays no role in raising the cubs. The female is left to do all the hard work and face all the dangers of parenthood by herself. So we have a life that starts with a high chance of not making it past infancy. If you do, you're forced into a lonely, dangerous journey to find a home. Your daily life is a constant, exhausting struggle against starvation with a tiny success rate. And even a small injury can mean the end. It's a life of solitude, constant vigilance, and relentless pressure. But we haven't even touched on the biggest threat of all. The one that's pushing these magnificent creatures to the very brink of extinction. Us, humans. The single greatest challenge for a tiger today is habitat loss. The forests and grasslands they call home are disappearing at an alarming rate. We are cutting down forests for agriculture, building cities, roads, and dams right through their territories. This breaks up their habitat into smaller and smaller islands. Imagine trying to live your life when your neighborhood keeps getting demolished and fragmented. Tigers are forced into smaller areas, which means more competition for less food. It also means they are more likely to come into contact with humans, and that rarely ends well for the tiger. When a tiger's natural prey disappears, they get desperate. Sometimes they might attack livestock, like cows or goats, from nearby villages. This is a survival strategy, but for the villagers who depend on those animals for their livelihood, it's a huge problem. This leads to what we call human-wildlife conflict. In retaliation, tigers are often hunted or poisoned. They're just trying to survive in a world that we've taken from them. And then there's the most despicable threat: poaching. Tigers are illegally hunted for their parts. Their beautiful skins are sold on the black market as luxury items. Their bones and other body parts are used in some traditional medicines, despite there being no scientific evidence that they have any healing properties. Poachers use cruel traps, snares, and guns. For a tiger, a poacher's snare is an agonizing way to die. These criminal networks are ruthless and are driving tigers towards extinction for pure profit. Think about the numbers. A century ago, there were around 100,000 tigers in the wild. Today, there are fewer than 4,000. That is a catastrophic decline of over 95%. They've already vanished from vast areas of their historical range. It's a silent crisis happening in the world's last wild places. So, the next time you see a picture of a tiger, remember what it truly represents. It's not just a symbol of power and beauty, it's a symbol of incredible resilience. It's a creature that is born into a world of hardship, that fights for every single meal, and that endures a lonely, dangerous existence. And on top of all that, it faces a relentless threat from human activity that is pushing it to the edge. Being a tiger isn't a fairy tale. It's a constant, brutal fight for survival on a planet that is making it harder for them every single day. The good news is, it's not too late. Incredible conservation organizations and dedicated individuals are working tirelessly to protect tigers and their habitats. They work with local communities to reduce conflict, they patrol for poachers, and they fight to preserve the forests these animals need. We can all play a part by supporting these organizations, making conscious choices as consumers, and spreading awareness, because a world without tigers would be a much poorer place. They are more than just big cats. They are a vital part of our planet's health and a testament to the raw, untamed beauty of nature. Let's make sure their roar isn't silenced forever. Thanks for watching, and if you found this interesting, consider subscribing for more stories about our amazing planet.